Good morning, folks. Here we are at Sandy's Bash Blog podcast number 3, and we're bringing in the guest from the very first show, very good friend now, Philip Monaghan. Good morning, Phil.
Morning, Sandy. How you doing?
Absolutely fantastic. How was your weekend?
Oh, fantastic.
Best of the best, yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Where did we go?
The 2018 Martial Arts Awards in the Dome.
Doncaster Dome,
Doncaster.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Fantastic weekend. Some good celebrities there, obviously, in the martial arts world, including yourself, obviously.
No,
quite famous there.
No, stop it. He keeps saying too nice things about me. I give him £100 before we come on air. Sorry, Phil. Go on.
Yeah, fantastic weekend, Sandy. Thanks for letting us come.
No, thanks for coming down, mate. We had it was just it was a long day. I mean, it was probably like a 15-hour day, but I'll tell you what, it felt like 5 hours because it was just pure pleasure and pure fun meeting amazing like-minded people. Now, that's the subject we're touching on about minds again, guys, because we said from day one from the podcast, Phil was our first guest and did a great job, but we didn't even scratch the surface, Phil, did we? Come on.
We didn't. No.
What you've been doing for years and years and years, and this is what we're bringing you in today about. So obviously, for those people who have just joined us, thank you. This is Phil Mosley. He is going to be talking about, let's start with the first letter of the alphabet, which is obviously the letter A, stands for anxiety. Let's just throw it over to you, Phil. Talking about anxiety, what that brings to mind for you, first of all?
Anxiety, basically looking at the fight or flight response, basically that's what it is. It can show itself in different places, social situations, but basically it's quite a common, it's like a hidden sort of, people keep it to themselves. Most people who've got anxiety, they tend to not to tell anybody about it. Yeah. So it is a quite difficult thing to sort of get over as well, taking that first step, which is obviously why I've come in today, explain a little bit more about that.
Okay. And the question I've got for you today, first of all, is what is social anxiety?
Yeah, social anxiety, like I just mentioned, is an intense fear of being judged, really, is what it is. People can have social anxiety in going out for meals, talking to people on the phone, even writing in front of people, doing presentations. A lot of people can connect with that. Maybe you've got to do a presentation at work, and people sometimes, they get so overwhelmed with that, they might get anxiety or a panic attack, and they may call in sick just to avoid that. So they use tactics to avoid that situation then, which is ongoing. So once that's you've had that anxiety, it's sort of ongoing, so you make all sort of excuses up not to do it, if you will, because it feels that bad.
And obviously job interviews, that type of thing.
Well, job interviews, working in a company, you might have been there for years, and a promotion might come up, and you feel overwhelmed with anxiety, so you won't put yourself forward, which is, again, it's holding you back in life. You're not being happy in your job.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, everybody understands anxiety. It's a very loose word that's thrown around with people, isn't it? And every single human being, how many billion is there on the planet? What is it, 7.2 billion or something? Will suffer from anxiety at some point in their life, whether it's, the subjects that you've just said. It comes in all shapes and sizes, really, doesn't it? I mean, the thing I can relate it to, obviously, for me, as a Thai boxer, is butterflies in the stomach. There was always mentioned, wasn't it?
That's right.
That's before you go in the ring and thinking, am I doing the right thing here? Am I going to get knocked out? Am I going to get beaten up? Am I going to lose this fight? That's anxiety. We called it butterflies back then, and it's still called butterflies. It's just where your stomach feels. My partner Haley, my fiance, she's a nurse, and she describes it. She says, my stomach feels like a washing machine, turning round. When she's same thing. It's she's had to go into do many. She's got 2 degrees. And every time she's studied for these things, she was staying up late at night, as many people do, and they go to things like university, college, school, even like you said, adult education. It's anxiety is you have to learn to deal with it on a daily basis, don't you?
You do. Yeah, you have to keep it in check. I mean, obviously, you mentioned the butterflies in the stomach just before you get in the ring. many years ago, that was one of my breakthroughs really, with being in the martial arts and boxing. The first time I ever got to get in the ring, I avoided it for as long as possible, and then basically one day I was sort of put on the spot because somebody didn't turn up. So I was sort of, I couldn't not do it. Otherwise I'd had to walk out. So it was like being put on the spot. I took that first step, and once I was in there, after that first event, once I was confident I could do that, then I was putting myself forward every time then.
Right. Sometimes it's an opportunity presented itself, and then you're sort of not forced, but forced in a way of a situation that occurred, wasn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Moving on now from basically what is social anxiety. We've discussed that. Let's talk about labelling the condition, Phil. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah. Labelling is basically when people come to see me, obviously they've had the label put on that, the condition that they have, whatever you want to call that. Maybe they've been to the doctors, and he's labelled it as social anxiety or panic attacks or whatever that is. And what happens then really is you come to own that, if you will. You feel more connected to it rather than something you can get over. Yeah. So it's like a belief system that you're building up with that, because when a person first ever has anxiety, they don't really know what it is. They could be walking down the street and all of a sudden, their heart starts pounding, things like that, and they don't really know what's happening. So then they go and see the doctor, or maybe they might jump on the internet and Google that, and it come back as well, social anxiety, if I had a panic attack or whatever that is. What information they're getting then is the belief system starts taking effect from that moment on.
Right.
So then they go and see the doctor, and then he says, "Oh yeah, you've got anxiety." So you're labelling that. Then.
Right. Would you say, Phil, that a panic attack and anxiety are the same two things, or are they just like they're the two halves of the same, two sides of the same coin?
Yeah, they're basically the same. Basically, what it is, it's the fight or flight response again. It's sort of built into our DNA, if you will. I mean, thousands of years ago, if a lion jumped out, you'd have to do a runner, wouldn't you?
Yes, that's the fight or flight. Yeah,
fight or flight, and that's sort of an innate thing. It's built into our DNA.
Yes.
It's not something you can get rid of completely, and that's why when you mentioned before, you get a little bit of butterflies when you're getting in the ring. It's that excitement.
Yes.
But you're sort of controlling that. Then you can get through things. But when you've got it severely, you're struggling to get through that. You don't really know how to handle that. Right. It sort of builds up, so instead of getting more in control, you feel worse as time goes on.
Right, which then comes on to sort of the next subject, which is following on from this, because how your belief system can hinder recovery, and that's one of the points that we talked about, Phil, and that you want to include. So, how your belief system can hinder recovery.
Yeah. Again, basically, when you first, like I mentioned, you first ever have that anxiety, that panic attack, and generally that is when you're young. Obviously, you could be sort of in your 20s and you might have one, but obviously, as you've learned that response to certain situations as a child, so that might be sort of a bit innate then in your mind. So it's still there. So it's like moving around in your mind. So it's looking for a release system. It never goes away. It's actually still there all the time, remember?
Right.
The fight or flight response.
Yeah.
But when you're a kid and it happens, you don't really know what to do, because nobody ever sits you down and says, "Oh, Sandy, when you get one of these things in your stomach and your heart starts going and everything,"
that's true, isn't
you're
it?
terrified, aren't you?
It's
and
true.
you go,
no one
don't really know.
Yeah.
A perfect example I mentioned in the last podcast that we did about when I was young and I couldn't read and write and stuff. And you can imagine when I'm sat in the class and everybody gets the book out, right, Philip, you've got to stand up in front of class. If you can imagine that, as the fear is so overwhelming.
Yeah.
So what you're doing then, you're building that belief system up from that point on, and it never really goes away. So you totally believe in it 100%.
Right.
And when people come and see me, whether they come with anxiety, depression, or any kind of symptom, they believe in it 100%. And that's really what I've got to get that person away from that belief system.
Right, so it's changing your belief, which is a massive thing, isn't it? It really is. I mean, it's like someone, going on a crash diet or something. You're completely changing your food intake and drink intake, and it isn't easy. I mean, excuse me, as anybody who knows me, will know that I'm a super disciplined guy, but there are certain things that I am not super disciplined on. You can't be self disciplined on every score and subject, can you?
No.
You know, there's certain areas that you're going to be weak on, and so you'll have strengths and weaknesses. So
That's
basically,
right.
what you're doing, Phil, is you're building people's weaknesses, aren't you, to make them into a strength?
Yeah, that's right. And
Okay.
obviously, what most people do, they tend to shy away from that. Where if you look at that as being sort of a way to make your life better, as opposed to being fearful of that, then that's when you start to break through that. Basically, what that's telling you is, you know, it's like a sign to you, really. If you can just break through that one little thing and move on from that, your life changes completely. So what you do then, you start to completely change your belief system. So instead of you being 100%, you know, believing in your symptom, you might drop down to 70 and 60 and 50.
Right.
So what you're doing, you're looking at all the times that happened in the past, and you're sort of ripping them to bits, if you will. You're sort of looking into that and looking into your reaction to that. So you change your belief system, like from today, really. You can start changing it today.
Right. No
You know?
time like now.
No
No
time
like now.
That's
No
right.
time
Action.
like now. Action. Yes. You know, I've always said, you know, I mean, I'm not religious per se, but you know, the Bible stated that, you know, a human being will live 70 years and 10. You know, they weren't that far out. I mean, to me, a Bible's just a scripture, but
It is, yeah.
you know, they're not far out. I mean, the average age of a man these days, I think, is around about 76. The average age for a woman is about 78.
Yeah.
So basically, you know, we get on average around 8 decades. Your first decade, you know, your first 10 years, you're just a child, you're learning, your parents are doing most things for us. You know, your second decade, that's when you become the challenging teenager, and you're challenging society and everything. You've got massive hormone changes going through your body. It's a horrible time, really.
It is.
It's a tough time. Toughest time, I think, in a human's life, personally. I think the teenage years.
Yeah.
It is for parents, anyway, I believe.
Yeah.
Having teenage children. You know, then you hit your 30s, and this is where, for me, 20s to 30, is where you're going through, this is, you know, you become an adult at 21, fully grown adult, and this is when, you know, all the chemical changes in your body have pretty much you stop growing, and that's when you start learning. And I've always said, you know, you don't become a pure adult till you're 21.
Yeah.
And, you know, your body, like I said, has come through all these massive biological and chemical changes.
Yeah.
And you've obviously suffered things that have happened in our childhood. You know, we've got our gentleman Josh here. He's told us about his, you know, things that have happened to him in his life. Myself being bullied, you being bullied. You know, every person will be bullied at some point at school, unless you are the top of the food chain and you are the biggest bully there.
That's right.
You know, but then karma usually finds a way of sorting those out, doesn't it? And you know, we've discussed that before. Anyway, I'm going slightly off subject.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about all ages can suffer with anxiety. That's the main point. And so, moving on to the next subject here, we've got a few lists of questions to ask you, Phil. I'd like to ask you about anxiety support groups and some of the common questions, you know, regarding that.
Yeah, well, quite a lot of, because obviously the belief system that person's got in the symptoms is quite high. It's generally about 99.9% really when they come. So basically, I will ask them what they're doing, if they're going to support groups or anything like that. Not everybody does that, obviously, but some do. And the first thing I say to them is stop, don't go, you know, and it's like they're quite shocked, really. So it's a bit like thinking, well, why? Because it's helping me. Okay. Well, you think about it logically. When you first get your first panic attack or anxiety attack and you don't know what it is,
Yeah.
okay, you haven't got a clue, and then you go to your doctors. I mentioned before what happens when you walk out that place. You're 100% believing what you've got.
Right.
Yeah. So if you go to a support group where there's 20 other people in that room, they've got the same condition as you, what you're doing?
So you're just basically attracting it.
You're building the belief system up even more.
You're attracting,
Yeah,
It's like
so
the law of
what-
attraction, isn't it? You're actually, so you're being part of something that you're then falling into. So you're falling into your own trap, basically.
You're
aren't
falling into it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't go 100%. What I'm saying is, you know, when you go there, just have a quick look round, you know, and just see if it is for you.
you? Right.
You know, because sometimes that can be a first step
Right.
to that, but it's taking the first step in the right direction as well. This is another thing. If your doctor might sort of steer you in that direction of a support group and talk to people and things like that, but I don't really talk much when a person comes with anxiety or depression or whatever that is. I don't talk about it. It sounds a bit weird, this, and they say, well, how am I going to get over it then? You know, well, the more we talk about your issue, we're building it up.
Right.
We're believing it even more. So when you come and see me and I say, oh yeah, you've got anxiety, I understand what you mean. I understand you. I understand. Can you see what I'm doing now?
Yes.
I'm not helping that person by doing that.
So you're basically building a higher profile, and you're highlighting the problem further.
You're highlighting it.
That's
and
interesting.
their belief system when they come in is 100%, remember, generally. If you can imagine it's at 70, 80%.
Right.
Yeah. And I start saying, oh yeah, I can understand what you mean. Automatically, I'm on their level, they're not on my level, you see.
Right.
If you think of a support group, I mean, this is a massive thing, really, that I really got onto quite a while ago, is thinking about, I've tried in social situations, I've gone into rooms where I've tested it. I've gone into rooms where people are like, oh yeah, you know, with your mates having a bit of a chat, and you know, say, oh yeah, well last night, you know, my dog died or something. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, and then a person say, oh yeah, I said, I remember when mine died.
Yes.
Can you see where I'm coming from?
Do you know what's interesting? You just sort of I remember this from. I can only use it regarding what you do in life. And with a Bolton Thai boxing club, you know, everybody knows it's been going for years and years, and I've had every type of character and person, man, women, and child come through my gym, and of course, pretty much every thing that we're discussing, and you know, types of problems that people have had, have used to come into my gym. People with, you know, social problems, people, you know, children with ADHD, anxiety, depression. Alcoholics, drug users, whatever, I've seen them, and we've managed to help them out in some which way, shape or form. But I have a say thing where it's changing rooms in my gym. I've always said, stay away from changing room gossip. And the people said to me, what do you mean? I said, don't listen to people in the changing rooms.
That's right.
And well, I can put it on two profound situations here. One was the first thing that's affected me. I lost my first ever Thai boxing fight after, I think it was 11 straight wins. And I lost it on on what I just said, changing room gossip. I listened to two of the people in the changing rooms, two fellow fighters, one better than me as well. He was more experienced than me. And I told him who I was fighting. I was fighting a guy called Jeffrey Bullock from Liverpool. I was fighting him on his brother's show in Liverpool, and he then said to me, "You're fighting him? Are you mad?" And I went, "Well, I am a bit mad." And I said, "What do you mean?" I didn't say, "Well, I'm a bit mad." I said, "What do you mean?" And then suddenly the butterfly started, and he went, "Well, he's like he's black belt in jiu-jitsu, he's black belt kickboxing, he does Muay Thai, he fights professional boxing, and he's had like 40 fights. You've had like 10." And I went, right. And he said, "You're mad fighting him." I wouldn't. And I'm like thinking, well, you're better than me, and you wouldn't fight him. And it just messed my head up. And I'm not saying that was the contributor. What was the main factor why I lost the fight? There was a few reasons. There's 3 reasons, which I won't discuss now. But that was, to me, was what started it. And I basically went into that fight and giving far too much respect. I lost the first 3 rounds because I actually was basically scared of him. But I took the fight because I trained for it, because that Master Scare, my teacher, was actually pushing everything into me to say, you can win this fight. You wouldn't have put me in if you didn't think I could win. I just had 10 wins, so if you didn't think I could win, I wouldn't have been in there for my 11th fight. Or my 12th, I can't remember which one it was. Either 10th or either 11th or the 12th fight I had. Anyway, so that's that belief system.
Well,
and
that's it.
It just messed my own head up by somebody said, changing room gossip. Don't listen to other. And I now put that word, I use this word, the second part I'm going to say is where if you sit in a room, and I said, like, in the change, I've had this in my own Thai boxing change room, I sat there and so I've just come from dentist, I saw a tooth, they did this, they pulled it. The next person says, I remember this time when I had I had a needle this long. The other one says, I can't stand. And the whole group starts talking about teeth and dentists. And so basically everyone's pulling everybody down. So this comes, now obviously we don't want to, and let's put for the record, we don't want to say that these groups don't work, because obviously they do, or they wouldn't be out there support groups. They do. But obviously they don't work for everybody, do they? They
don't.
So there's 2 ways and trains of thought.
There is.
So
support groups, like I said before, I'm not saying don't go there. What I'm saying, go try it out, see if it's any good for you, but look at a different avenue. Maybe looking at self-help, really. looking at changing your belief system. So if you look at it from the point of view where I'm looking at it, is when you go into a room of 20 other people who've got anxiety, you don't feel powerful. You feel a little bit weaker as you're going in. Okay. If you look at it the way I'm doing it, I'm giving you self-belief. I'm making you more powerful from within, from you, not from where you're going to.
Right.
And that's where, like you said, the belief. Once you believe in something, it's really difficult to change that. And that's what the self-mastery program is. Everything that I talk about, if you notice, the core of it is the belief.
Yes. Well, the first word, the thing that you set up, self-mastery program, says it all. And the first word is self. There's only one of you, and that's you. Yeah. And believing in oneself. You just, this is why we've got people like you, Phil. And it's important. It's a shame that we can't split you into 20. Send you out there. It'd be nice if we could throw you out there, mate, and put one in every building. Anyway, very interesting stuff, mate. And again, we are actually scratched the surface today, and I think we'll be able to clear some things up. Because even I, when we had that first talk, and we've chatted a lot of times since then, I think, this could be something that could be like an ongoing subject, and you could talk about this forever, couldn't you? It's not like a one-hit wonder, is it? Yeah. So the next question we'll ask you is basically, can I or can people overcome social anxiety?
Yeah, I'm 100% confident that you can. It's getting the right help, like I said before. Try a few different things. One of the main contributors really to anxiety is stress. If you can learn some sort of techniques for stress, like, I don't know, yoga, maybe, listening to music, going for a walk, that type of thing. But what you've got to do, you've got to really work at that. It's no good saying, oh yeah, this fantastic thing, yoga, and going once or twice and expecting that to work, because it won't. It's the same as, oh, I'll go for a quick walk tomorrow, and you go and you get back, you think, oh, well, it didn't really work. Give it a bit of time, do it for a week, don't go mad. Or I'll go for a walk, do like a 5-mile walk on the first attempt and things like that.
Yeah.
It's when you're taking that first step, it's really important not to overdo it.
Right.
So walking, listen to music, go to yoga, take some relaxation classes, whatever that is. I run stress management workshops to teach people how to manage that as well.
Right.
So that's another thing that you could do, a stress management program or something like that.
Right. So, what does it feel like to have an anxiety attack? I mean, obviously some people know this because they've had them.
Yeah.
We've all experienced it.
Yeah.
But, the basic thing for some people, they don't know how to identify it. Some persons, just like you said, could just suddenly one day, like you said, just throw the covers over their head. Yeah. They'd say, oh, I've got a migraine, or blame it on I've got a headache, or something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not going in work today, or I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. And they don't actually identify it with anything. So, basically, just give us your thoughts of what would you, how would you describe, and what does it feel like to have an anxiety attack?
Yeah. Well, obviously, with being a sufferer for many years myself with that, it's that intense fear, really. You don't really know why. Obviously, a lion's not going to jump at you or anything like that, but you sort of get a few butterflies in your stomach, your hands might start sweating, you get pins and needles, and your heart might start pounding. It's like it's pounding that much, it feels like it's going to come out your chest. You know? And that fear, it's like that intense fear, you don't know what to do. You don't know if to move or just to scream or shout. It does feel a little bit like you're going mad. What's wrong with me? There's got to be something wrong with me because it's really bad. And the best thing I can if you look at people who have like heart problems, they have an heart attack or something like that. It's that really intense.
Yeah. Well, that brings on to the next question. I mean, and we've been asked this. Some people will laugh at this. I might have laughed, and I apologise. But somebody said, "Can you actually die from an anxiety attack?"
Well, that's
someone die?
Yeah, that's a misconception. There's no known records, research or anything like that somebody died of a.
Yeah. Because a lot of people say, don't they, with anxiety, I'm going to die. I feel like I'm dying. I feel like
you're going to die. That's what I said before. That's really
that's a strong feeling, isn't it?
It's like you can't really explain
intense.
that. I mean, it might be just something like simple, like you're out with your mates and you have to stand up and talk in front of them or something. Like I said, and it's like bang, and it's real like that. And when it's gone, it's like you've gone 10 rounds with Tyson or something.
Yeah. Do you know because I've never really suffered with it,
Yeah.
but I have it. Like I said, every single person on the planet has it. I'm not special. I don't feel it. I was doing I got sent over to Singapore to do a massive show called Challenger Muay Thai. And I went there to present, to commentate with another gentleman who works for Fox TV in Australia. And it was for this massive Thai boxing show. And it was in Nagawa Stadium, absolutely beautiful part of the world. And they threw upon me at the last minute, just before the show started. They wanted us to go in front of the camera with a microphone and present it to start it. But I didn't know I was doing this. I thought I was just commentating, which I can do it. I can do it with my eyes shut. I love. Well, you can't do it with your eyes shut. But you know what I mean. Literally, you can. You know, it's. Yeah,
you can try.
You can try. Don't know where that come from.
Yeah.
No, I do it because I love doing it, because I'm passionate and it's what I do. So it's easy to discuss the subject that you've done for 40 years. But anyway, so suddenly they said, right, okay, and they just put this big TV camera there, which the TV cameras don't bother me, by the way, ever. But suddenly there's this massive TV camera. There's like 6,000 people behind us, and I'm stood with this guy off Fox TV, and they said, right, and they give me just a piece of paper like that. They said, right, but it was literally, it was an A4, and it was full.
Yeah,
and they went, read that, and then I would say it, and I was like,
put on the spot.
On the spot. I have never felt that much anxiety and fear.
Yeah.
And I think there's a saying some people call it. I choked. I went.
Yeah. Yeah, you can feel it.
They went, just do a quick dry run now, and I went. And I thought, but I can't hold that there and look at the camera because it looks so unprofessional. That's right. But I had it sort of down here because they were going from the waist upwards, and I was like,
that's right.
But it would have been like this, and it would have looked really silly, because there was that much content. There's no way I could have remembered it.
Yeah.
And it was like a script, and I just said to the guy who was doing the presenter, the director, and I said,
just
have
do
you
it.
Have you got an autocue? I said, because I can't remember that. And even the guy with me said to me, Sandy, that's a tough ask, that. Anyway, they had to end up, they took me off because I choked. They brought this woman in, and with a gentleman from Australia, and they, but then they got an autocue. Because even she was a female presenter who did this for a living, even she said, that's too much. But the feeling, that's the worst feeling I had ever felt. It still stands in my mind, and it's like 5-6 years ago. And that feeling I got, honestly, like I said, I am not scared of it. You can put me in front of 7.2 billion people with a camera, and it wouldn't faze me.
And you can imagine,
but then that was too much for me.
Yeah, you can imagine what we're saying before about your belief system. Then, once you've had that, it's so overwhelming. You know, you got to believe in it, and you do. You know, and you believe in it for like years and years. I mean, some of my clients have had it for like 30, 40, 50 years. Like I said last time, you know, I've had a lady in at 86, you know, and it's like, it's unbelievable. Why have you done that? You know, why have you not, looked for some sort of help and things like that? Which obviously that's why I do what I do. Right.
So, how could a person help themselves? What advice would you give them?
Well, the first thing, like I said before, would be obviously we need to do sort of a disclaimer here, really, as well, about anxiety. And, you know, obviously, like I said, it's like the feeling like you're having an heart attack or something like that. And it's really imperative, really, that if you do get that, is to seek medical advice, go and see your doctor.
Right.
Don't do anything apart from that, first of all. You know, really need to put that forward. Don't think, oh yeah, my mate said I've just got an anxiety attack, because you might not have had.
Yeah,
you might have had an heart attack.
Yeah, that's it.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, diagnosing.
You know, his mate said, oh yeah, your mate might turn and say, oh, I was in hospital last week. You know, all wires on me. I thought I had an heart attack. You're probably just having a panic attack or something, and that's why it's really imperative that the first port of call is your GP. Right. First of all, that's really important. I must put that across.
Yeah, otherwise, you know, people could say, am I going mad?
I'm not going mad, yeah.
Are they going mad? Well, they're not going mad, are they?
Not going mad, no, but that's really what it feels like, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
And are there many people suffering from anxiety? How many people, what would you say the percentage of people?
Well, there is quite a lot of research out there. The thing that I've come across in the past really is, I think it's something like 40% of the world population suffer from some sort of anxiety or depression related condition. In the UK, it's actually 6 million. 6 million sufferers. 3 of them anxiety, as per se, and related depression. 3 million depression and 3 million anxiety.
Wow.
So it's 6 million just in this country alone.
Incredible. Well, you know, we're approaching the very last few seconds now of this. Again, another fantastic podcast here with Phil Monaghan. Phil, again, self-mastery program. Obviously, everyone listening and watching, guys, how can they contact you if they need help, if they want to do, like, you know, they want a one-to-one with you, or any advice you can give them, or, you know, how would they contact you?
Yeah. Well, the first protocol, obviously, will be you can find me on Facebook. If you type in the self-mastery program, I come up on that. You can contact me directly if you want to. You can text me on 07856 709 469. You don't have to come and see me. Maybe it's just some advice that you need to move forward and take that first step. You know, I haven't got a problem just speaking to you over the phone or something like that. Send me a quick email. You can send me a quick email at therapy2011@gmail.com. Some people might struggle on the phone, obviously talking, if they've got a little bit of anxiety there with that. There's loads of different ways you can do it. You might see me out and about in Bolton or whatever, things like that. You can contact me with Sandy, anybody, you know, who knows me really.
So on Facebook, you are on as Philip Monaghan. Philip, Philip, Monaghan, Monaghan, is that right?
That's right.
So
the self-mastery program.
Self-mastery program, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
So this is the end of the Sandy's Bash Blog podcast number 3, part 1. And obviously we're moving into the second this afternoon, where we'll be meeting a gentleman called Lee Bolton from Ellaby Studios. So from me, Sandy Holt, okay, it's goodbye to Philip Monaghan until we see him again. I hope we have you back on the show again, Phil.
Well, hopefully, we can just cover a few things, like maybe do a mini-series on something.
I think so. And obviously, we've started with letter A, anxiety. Any ideas for the next one?
Well, I think another massive one, really, which is really closely related to that, is low self-esteem or lack of confidence, whatever you want to call it.
So confidence.
Low self-esteem.
Low self-esteem.
Yeah, lack of confidence.
Right, well, I think
can move forward once you master that.
So that's like the next section, guys, moving on from what we've discussed today. So again, we've highlighted it. It's been a great, absolutely fantastic show with this gentleman. And thank you for all the viewers back on Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us. Come back, please, for number 2 later. Okay, a 5-minute break, and then we're going to be back on it. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's a wrap.
Thank you.
Okay. Round 2 of Sandy's Bash Blog podcast number 3. And the second half featuring a gentleman, okay, that we go back a long way, a great guy, and his name is
Lee Bolton. And
from?
I'm from Salford, but I do live in Bolton. I do.
We have this joke every time. Welcome, Lee.
Thank you.
Lee, first of all, obviously introduce yourself. Lee Bolton, what is it you do, and what's your job title?
My job title, it sounds really professional and big, but I'm a film director. I'm based in Manchester. I used to have a studio in Bolton, started off in Bolton, so, you know, it built us up. So that's my daily job. I film direct, I also edit as well, and also a camera guy as well. So master of all trades, if you will.
Right, so it must feel a bit strange, though, okay, being on the opposite side of the camera this time. But, when did you get started?
I've always filmed. I've always filmed since about 18. I've always had a camera in my hand ever since it got cheap. I think it was about when I was 18. You could buy a camera for like 500 quid. Remember the old video cameras, the tape stuff?
I actually had one. Those things on your shoulder.
They were awful, weren't they?
But a full VHS.
You could the full tape in it,
couldn't you?
Yeah, and I was working then since I was 17, so I could afford this kit. And all my friends were buying cars, and I was buying cameras and things like that. It was a bit crazy. So I was buying these cameras. And then about the editing stuff, and I was editing on VHS, which was awful, really. And I basically had my friends involved with all these films we did, and we made up films. We made these little short films, and so it started from there. But then real life got in the way. So basically, house mortgage and everything, and a normal job. Because at the time, which is about 1991, it was hard to get into the industry, the filming industry, and certainly to set yourself up as a business. So I basically went into data management for banks. Would you believe? And things like that, working on microfilm and things, and I did that for Lorraine. How long did I do that for? I think I did it for about 21 years. I did that for. But that obviously give me the. I was always filming at weekends and things like that, and working on TV shows and films and things like that, and that started me off really. Yeah.
Right. Well, you know, the little voice you've just heard there is brought in with you today, your assistant, okay, we can call her that.
Our
Lorraine.
Producer.
Yeah. Lorraine, how are we doing? Good morning.
I'm all right, thank you, Sandy.
Yeah, good. She's a little bit camera shy, is our Lorraine. But let me tell you about Lorraine, okay? She helps, obviously, you know, Lee, and whenever she does any pictures, and because I've been in studio with you quite a few. Well, we did for about 6 months at least. How long was it?
Longer.
Longer. We've done quite a few things there. We'll discuss that in a minute. Anyway, so we now know when you. Well, what year did you actually? What year would you say you officially started then as a film director, or was there never really a start date?
There was a start date. I think we spoke about this before. You know, obviously when we talk a lot, I got that feeling where I was getting on a bit. It's putting my age on me now, and I just wanted to do something creatively in my life. Just wanted to, you know, rather than a 9-to-5 job.
Right.
And I was getting bored. So I knew I could film, or I thought I could film, and I thought, who's going to pay me for my services? You know, it's the hardest thing when you set your business up. So 8 years ago, I just went, I'm leaving the job, threw my keys on the table, and I left. And that was it. I was gonna get made redundant anyway, but I left before that all happened and stuff. So basically I left, and LB Studios was born, and yeah.
Right, which is what I was going to ask you. Alibi Studios is the name of the company you run now, so that's brilliant. Can you name us some of the projects that you have done? And, well, yeah, just name a few of them first, and then you can go on to say which would you say was the biggest and the best in your opinion. Okay,
we worked with clients, and we always say clients all around the world now, which is great that, you know, they're coming to us for filming projects. We worked with Pepsi. We did some 60 ident, which are basically just little things for bus stops and, you know, video movement and stuff like that in the Zambia. So we did 60 adverts for them. So they come to us.
Zambia.
And we were based in Braitmet at the time. That's where the studio was. So they come.
That's where I first met you.
That's where we first met. Yeah, which is this brilliant studio near Red Brick Studios, wasn't it? It's fantastic, and I miss it so much because it was the birthplace really of Ellaby.
Right.
And they come to us in Bolton to the Zambia, which is a bit crazy. And they said, "Can you film these 60 adverts?" So this is that. We've done stuff for Porsche. So these are one of the big companies we've done for all in-house videos and things like that.
Did you give you a Porsche?
I wish. I went for a drive in a Porsche.
That's that about it. And
and
I'm guessing Zambia give you a couple of bottles of Pepsi as well.
I know I bought my own.
Oh dear.
For the show, it's one of them. I bought their own, and it's So
you can't write this stuff, can you?
I know, and it wasn't diet Pepsi
so no Pepsi
as well.
The trade.
Yeah,
it wasn't a diet.
It wasn't. So you'd have hated it.
I don't like to say it.
No.
But you do actually look a bit better than last time I see.
I've been walking a little bit.
So you lost a little bit of weight, haven't you?
A little bit.
I keep giving him a lot. Sorry, I'm going a bit too loud.
It's me.
Wait, no, it's me. No, it's you.
Okay.
How can you be louder than me? Lee? Have you managed that? That's the first.
So we work with, we do all sorts. We've done music videos. We've travelled abroad doing music videos. Yeah. We've recently just come back from Romania and done a documentary about what they're doing over there in regards to trains. Would you believe? So we went over to Romania to film trains, which was brilliant. It was north of Bucharest, would you believe? I ended up getting chased by a lot of turkeys because I got lost.
Turkeys or Turkish?
Turkeys, proper turkeys.
I got the gobble.
Yeah.
This has turned into a comedy sketch.
So I got lost,
we'll bring him back in for that. We'll talk about turkeys at another time. But anyway, sorry.
So my favourite thing I did was a film called Charlie and Me, which I've told you about, which is on Amazon Prime now at the moment, which is Charlie and Me.
Charlie and Me.
Yeah, right. which was filmed in Bolton as well. So there's another Bolton tick. So we built a full-size spaceship in the studio, a working spaceship. Well, not working in fly, but all the lights and stuff and the buttons and stuff. And it's on Amazon Prime at the moment. And I wrote it about my mum, all the feelings about your mum, because mum's passed away now. And it's Yeah, and it's a lot of boxes, and I love it because it was on TV. Was it every week? Wasn't it? One of the Sky channels. They put it on every week, even Christmas Day just gone.
Brilliant.
So we had that, and we had Amazon Prime, so it's on there, and it's
So if you Google Charlie and Me,
Charlie and Me, yeah.
Is it on YouTube or?
It's not. It's because we've still got the license for the broadcast, which is on Made Television, which is shown everywhere apart from Bolton and Manchester, isn't it? It's shown in Liverpool, made in Belfast, made in all over the country. It's the biggest independent TV station on Sky for local news and programmes and programming and stuff. And it's on there, but it's never been shown in Manchester apart from obviously the screens we've done. So yeah, Charlie and Me.
Charlie and Me.
Yeah.
I've not seen it. I'll have to look that
I'll have to send you that. Yeah.
Yeah, send it me.
I will do.
So you've named some more. Can you name any more sort of projects that you've worked on? Good or bad?
They've always been good. Everyone's been good. We've really enjoyed it. I'll tell you what we've done recently. We've just filmed a music video, haven't we, called I'm a Gangster in Manchester Town Centre, which is this I wanted to do something. Yeah, but the thing is, it is funny. It's crazy. And I wanted to do something a bit daft. We've always done the corporate stuff, and years ago when I did my comedy films, like it's just said and stuff.
Sorry, was that what you put on Facebook the day about looking for some people for it?
Yeah, I'm a gangster, yeah. She's all like that, but she's really rubbish. Yeah. So she walks in this pub in Manchester and she's like that with the local, all the actors, like doing that, all that stuff, and and it's ridiculous. She's rubbish. Yeah. So we've just done that. We're in talks to go to Saudi Arabia for filming for a project over there.
Oh wow!
Which hopefully is in a couple of weeks. I find out today if we're doing that. So yeah, it's great. But I think the one I think we met on it. The one that's really exploded on the internet was the Bolton's Got Soul video.
Yes, well, I'm going to touch that subject in a minute.
Okay.
Just before that, what is the current? I think you just started saying that a little bit. I was going to ask you, what's the current film, etc. What's in project currently? Are you actually in the middle of one now? Or?
Yeah. We're always working on different projects. I think we're usually about 4 on the go. Normally, we used to get about 4 in. We've got you're laughing because it's the Button Bashers movie, the Button Bashers movie we're doing. That's the Button Bashers.
Oh,
Button.
I thought you said Bottom Bashers. Sorry, I might have to delete that.
I've never shot anything like that. But anyway,
listen, never say never. So sorry. Let's just for everyone listening back at home, everyone watching. The what?
The Button
Bashers
movie.
No, seriously, I'm not going to be able to say that film right.
Lorraine will never be able to say that.
Right, and the film is a documentary, full featured documentary, about the 80s computer games, how they were born in the local. There was a load in Bolton, load in Manchester. How these programmers made these games on these.
Right, I was just thinking, how can you do a film on buttons? I was struggling.
Button bashing. That's what they used to do, didn't they? Do you know they played the arcade games?
Now
and
you
stuff?
See.
Hypersports. Remember that?
Strong in the arm, thick in the head. I weren't getting that at all. It just weren't sinking in. I think there was a subliminal bottom bashers that sent me sideways.
Your mind works different than mine, Sandy. So I wasn't thinking like that.
This is what he says. Anyway, it's made this interview very interesting all of a sudden.
Well, it's about computer games, so it's not that interesting, really. Well, if you're geeky, you'll love it.
Right.
We went all around the country last year filming all the people who made these computer games in the early days, and we got about 15 interviews in total, didn't we? We've got hours and hours and hours of footage, and it's like a drama documentary. So the things that they do talk about, like when they first made, funny enough, we're going to be filming a segment here in Bolton FM, is like how they started the industry, and even one guy was sending the code out from his radio station out to people. So we used to playing record, we used to tape off the radio.
Yeah.
People were doing that, but obviously with this code, the screechy code you got from computers. Yeah. It was the first download, if you will, and people were playing record.
What year would this be?
About 1981. It would this in the film. The film starts in 1981.
Right.
So you'll see that. You'll see people doing that and playing the games.
So what was the computers' names out there? Just give me some things that people might know.
There was a Sinclair Spectrum. Do you remember that one?
Yes,
the rubber key thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
48K.
Yeah, I didn't have one, but I remember it. Yeah. Go on, there's another one.
The Commodore 64.
Yeah, Commodore 64.
And I think everyone remembers things like the game systems, like the Atari. I think
that was the one that sticks in my mind.
Space Invaders and things, and asteroids.
My favourite, the asteroids.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
That was amazing. What was the other one? The tennis thing.
That was Pong. It was called Pong.
Ping pong.
Yeah.
But without ping.
Yeah, Pong.
Right, Pong, not ping.
Button Bashers and Pong, yeah. It's one of them interviews, isn't it?
It's gone. We've lost the plot.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what we're doing now, and we Bolton FM have kindly said we can film one of the scenes here. When they do, it was in the radio station. That's one of the scenes. So it was great. Yeah. So it's all good. It's all fun, and in my day's different every day, which is fantastic.
Well, we've just to give everybody and the folks who are just watching live there and on here, how we come to Met was, I think. Was it actually the flash mob was the first thing we did, or did I come to you about commentating first?
It might have been commentating first. It might have been. Yeah, it was, because we knew each other when it wasn't the Bolton Got Soul. We did the commentary in Break Met,
yes.
And then very soon after.
Studios.
That's
that
when
was it. This is when I first met Lee. I am commentating for FFC Final Fight Championships and for KOK King of Kings. FFC they actually did a couple of programs, a couple of fight shows, and they didn't have English commentating on them. They only had Croatian and Russian or something, in the Baltics. Anyway, I I was actually doing them live for the shows around Croatia, but they missed a couple of the earlier shows out before they brought English commentators in. So they asked me, could I cover them? And said, could you get to a studio somewhere? I had no idea who to go to. So basically, I thought, it's going to be Manchester, this. I can only imagine the place. Where would I go to find a studio? And I think obviously I Googled or I just yellow paged or whatever the people do. How many years ago would that be?
So, about 2014, wasn't it? Something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
2013, 14.
Yeah, around that time. Yeah.
And anyway, Ellaby Studios came up and it said Bolton, and I thought, wow, and it turned out to be just off Bury Road. And spoke to Lee, and Lee says, come in, have a chat, see what it is you want to do. And anyway, linked up. And basically that's how it all started. And fabulous place, wasn't it? Ellaby Studios in Bolton.
Yeah, but I remember putting you in that little hole at the back to do the audio, wasn't it? It was brilliant. I miss it so much. It's one of them.
It's just in like this back room thing. It was a studio, not quite as elegant as this place, but it did the job, didn't it? You know, we had
brilliant.
The screens up, and we had the headphones, and we had the mic, and off we went, and it worked.
Yeah.
Was it Richard Cadden who came with me on the first one, or did I do it on my own?
It was Ronnie.
Ronnie
wasn't
the first one. No,
right, I'll say we did it. All right.
Ronnie got set up.
No, but he did turn up at there because he didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ronnie, if you're watching. It might have been yes.
It was Richard.
Yes, it was.
Richard, it was Ronnie who came next.
That's
Richard
right.
Couldn't get up.
That's right.
He was struggling with the times and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what
it was. Good fun.
Shortly after that, two gentlemen in Bolton, one called Billy Isherwood, and a lot of people were friends with him on Facebook, wanted to come up with an idea with the flash mobiles started to take off, didn't they? And Billy Isherwood, you can tell the story anyway, ended up not doing it, and it was Phil Jackson. So how did Billy Isherwood contact you, or how did it all come about?
It was just, basically, it was Phil, Phil who contacted us to film it. We've worked with Phil on TV and film, and I've known Phil for quite a long time. With myself as well. So yeah, brilliant. Yeah. And Phil had been speaking to Billy about it, and basically, not to take anything away, we just filmed your magic, the magic that they did, if you know what I mean. So they organised it, and I just filmed it.
Which was called Bolton's Got Soul.
Yeah.
It's about Northern Soul. And Phil contacted me asking could I do some of the choreography for it, because obviously anybody who knows me knows a Northern Soul dance champion as well. And it was like, wow, yeah, please. And we managed to get hold of how many extras did we have on?
I don't know. It's quite 60, possibly more.
Maybe more, wasn't there?
You guys rehearsed for ages. How you did that, I don't know.
Yeah, we rehearsed in if you actually go into the vaults now in Bolton, that's obviously wasn't there. So the whole floor that you disappeared down now was straight across there, but it's not that long ago anyway. And there was back rooms where we actually all practiced with. I think originally we had about 100 people before they started dwindling off, but we ended up with about 60 people.
I might be wrong with that. Yeah, it's about roughly. That. Yeah.
But anyway, Phil and his team filmed it, and it was called, as I said, Bolton's Got Soul. So if you just Google now, Bolton's Got Soul, you'll see it, and it's brilliant, really well filmed. It's a nice short clip, and it was a pleasure to work with you again and all the team. Phil Jackson, like I said, Billy Isherwood, who sort of invented it but didn't follow through with it, but it worked out, and it was absolutely great for Bolton, great for Northern Soul, great for the actual, for everybody. I don't think there's no negatives at all. It was absolutely, and it's hit. What's the how many hits has that had now?
It's done quite a few. I've not seen it for a while. I never look at my past videos. I'm weird.
Yeah.
It's like that.
What was the thing? Was it
is it probably $500,000 or something like that? It's. I get tagged in on this. There's a thing on Facebook called Edition Red. Have you seen it where they share the Northern Soul videos, and that goes up on that, doesn't it? So I get a little ping to say they've done that, but I've not seen it for a while. So, but you all did fantastic, and Phil did a fantastic job getting you all together and the rehearsals, and there was the ladies teaching the dance and stuff.
Two ladies that was. What's the names?
Is it Melinda and Belinda? I always remember that.
Yes,
is that what it was?
Well done, Belinda and Melinda. Thank you.
Yeah.
Without you two ladies, have come to done it. It was too big a task for myself. Yeah, so the three of us pretty much did that. It was great. Right. So, what, as a film director, have you? Let's do a little Star Spangled stuff. Who have you met in the film industry that anybody would know? Like Steven Spielberg or anybody. Have you met any big directors or film producers?
Yeah, I've been on set with Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
Phil did that as well. Mr. Phil Jackson, he did it as well. We were filmed Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar. Is it? What is it? Peculiar. Is it? I can't. Miss Peregrine's.
Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Is that what it is? One of Tim Burton's, one of his last films he did. We basically we were brought on in Blackpool. They closed Blackpool front to film it. Wow. So it was crazy, and I'm a big geeky sort of. I love directors and stuff, and I follow people's work. And Tim Burton on set was absolutely fantastic.
So you get to speak to him?
Didn't know. I spoke to his second day dude, but basically I got promoted to walk in front of camera as a family guy. Right. So would you do this? So you get an extra £50 if you just walk past camera. And if you watch the film, you do see me walk past when all the main cast come. And it was only extra work, but it was the thing that I got out of that. And the thing I always did, I've done a bit of TV and film work as we've discussed, but I'm stood next to Tim Burton all week and just watching him, what he's doing and how he sets the cast up.
Some things up? You learn some tips, I think?
because actually, when he's on set, he's very hands-on. A lot of TV directors, I don't usually see him, they're stood behind the tent, but he's in front going, here's what you do, and you go in and stuff. And to his first day do, he relays to us because they don't speak to the extras. It's a weird industry thing. So he's setting up the shots, but when everyone was going for lunch, I tried to stay behind as long as I could on set. Yeah. So I'm watching on the monitors the next scene they're setting up, and there's a lot of visual effects work in there. And at the time I was at Bolton Uni doing visual effects. We had the best film school ever for a week, and it was just fantastic to do. And luckily I'm in one shot when I walked past. I went to the cinema and was like, look, there's me.
That's me.
I know, yeah. Crazy.
The 15 minutes of fame.
I know.
Why not? So basically, how would somebody contact you if they wanted to just do, I mean, obviously I'm guessing you'll do low-key, low budget things as well as
of course,
high-end stuff.
Yeah.
But if somebody just wanted to do, I mean, daft question, but sometimes daft questions are good questions.
Yeah.
Do you film weddings or anything, or do you do any events? What will you do and what won't you do?
I don't think we've ever we have never ever turned around and said we won't do anything, will we? No. We've always said we'll work to someone's budget. We've always done that.
Apart from bottom bashing.
Apart from
bottom bashing, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I was just going to say, it's not doing bottom bashing.
We do more or less anything.
You'll do anything but bottom bashing.
Bottom bashing. That film's. I'm going to have to change the film title now, aren't I? We've never turned around and said no. We've had people to come to the office and chat about it, and it's not. The job's never about money. Obviously, it's a business, and it's a business, set up that we've got. Yeah. But it's always nice to do something different. I mean, the music video we just did was a really low budget one, but we wanted to do it. Do you know what I mean? And if we could just get there.
So have you done many music videos?
We've done quite a lot. Yeah. We've done quite a lot. There's
any notoriety that somebody could actually go, I don't remember, I saw that. Or
well, they're getting a lot of the Black Heart Orchestra. They're getting a lot of well, they travel all over the world, don't they? And they're fantastic. We've done some great videos with them, and they let us go. Well, they are very arty anyway, so they let us go really creative with the videos. Linnell Brown, we've been where did I film with him? Poland, Italy, and Switzerland, and. No, it wasn't Romania. It was the other one, wasn't it?
Very European, getting out there.
Prague.
International
Prague, yeah. So we basically just shoot his videos where he wants and stuff like that. So it's great working with him. Right. So to answer your question, any sort of budget, and if we can work to it, we'll do it. Right. And we do. Yeah.
So we need to get Elvis Studios out there. Where are you based?
We're based now in Spinning Fields.
Oh, we've gone up, Lee. We've gone up. Hey, he won't be talking to us soon. Won't we get any chicken rolls in there?
Hey, chicken rolls still, and chips and gravy.
Oh, that's all right then.
And but no, I've got a cheap suit now. It's great. Yeah, it's nice.
So you're with all the posh people on.
Yeah, we still wear Primark pants and everything.
You're still in Primark?
Yeah.
That's all right. Glad you haven't changed.
No, it's the reason Spinning Fields is I basically the space that we've got shared by we're a great group of people. It basically said we've got this space here for you, and I landed on my feet with these guys, and that's why we're in Spinning Fields, and it's good for the corporate work that we do. The big companies.
Anybody, if you mention that, somebody goes, you're not in the back streets of Manchester somewhere. Okay, the button bashers will won't get a mention, will they? No, if you say Spinning Fields, oh my God! I mean, that's like that's the high end, posh end, best part of Manchester. I mean, every so often for an occasion, take the missus out there for a nice meal, something or a drink, and it's beautiful. It is. They've done a real good job with it out there, haven't they?
It's beautiful, and we're in the newest building there.
Where's my invite?
I told it to come. There's a free bar. It's crazy.
I don't drink. I don't want a free bar. I just want free hot water.
We have
hot water free.
No, we have this beautiful water thingy. Anyway, you'll love it. Anyway, so yeah, but you like this? Actually,
I had my brew, and it's I know. Brew, it's hot water.
I had my lunch. Obviously, I'm working at the office yesterday, and I took a pie from Burnham Park. You know the big the pies are the best, aren't they? From there, and I'm sat there eating it, and everyone's eating like couscous and stuff.
Couscous
and like
couscous with avocado.
They're pushing me the scruffy in the middle eating a
pie and chips.
Yeah,
well, I noticed that's coming down anyway.
It's got to go. I was looking at gyms, by the way.
Was you?
Yeah.
God, there's one called Bolton FM Boxing Club. Anyway, enough of the Freudian slips. www.oosh.tv.com.
All right.
Anyway, last thing before we go, because obviously we're running out of time.
Cool.
How would someone contact you?
We're available on all the media platforms, social media. The website is www.elerbystudios.co.uk, which is there.
We all see that. You see that there? But there you go. ELERBY
Studios.co.uk. Yeah, in Manchester. We're on Facebook and things like Instagram and things
on
like
that. Facebook, what, just as your name?
Elerby Studios.
Studios,
yeah. You can see all the latest stuff we've got there. We've got a new show reel out, which is all the stuff we've done recently, so you can see some of the work we've done. And just contact us if you need any videos doing. We're approachable. We'll set up a meeting, and you can come to our lovely studios in Manchester, and I'll invite you. I will. I do promise.
Right, so we're going to end it there. Obviously, the lady who didn't want us to get seen too much on camera, but she is. Can't do without you, Lorraine.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly, you've been fantastic, because so many times on these, I've been commentating, like I said, now for probably going on 12 months, and Lorraine's provided us with her space, with her brews, with her food, and just everything. There's some great photographs. She's the only person I know who can make me look nice on Instagram and without any filters. I don't know how she does it. She's got the best camera in the world, but she makes Sandy Holt look handsome. Thank you, Lorraine.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you for having me this morning. Thank you very much, Lee. It's been an absolute
pleasure. As always. Good to see you.
As we would say in when your thing, you'd say it's a
wrap.
I'd have said a chicken wrap. There you go. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you again. Oosh.